Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So the first news is coming from Belarus. So we've got pretty interesting news and breaking news coming from Belarus is that a Ukrainian drone actually entered Belarusian airspace the other night. So this Ukrainian drone was on its way to hit somewhere in Russia, and along the way this Ukrainian drone actually entered this region of Belarus, this region right here. So it went through it here, and Belarusian air defences actually activated and shot a lot of these drones down. And we've actually gotten footage of this. So Belarusian TV networks are showing the footage of the remains of these drones, these Ukrainian drones. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, these are Ukrainian drones that flew over Belarusian territory. Not so long after that, Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, reported that the destruction of Ukrainian air targets over the territory of Belarus. He stated that the armed forces of Ukraine violated all kinds of agreements and violated the airspace of Belarus in the eastern direction. The Air Force and the anti-air units were put on full combat readiness to intercept all targets. The Ministry of Defense and the General Staff of Belarus were given instructions to implement the measures to ensure the security of the country. He also stated that the Ukrainians show with these actions that they are not ready for any kind of peace and continue to escalate this tension. And he also stated that all provocations will not go unanswered. After the drone strikes on Belarus, as reported by the President Lukashenko, the Republic of Belarus is reinforcing its troops on the border with Ukraine. So this was stated by Lukashenko. According to the Belarusian Ministry of Defense, Lukashenko has issued instructions to strengthen the troops grouping on the Gomel and the Mosul direction, so these two cities here. The reason is to respond to any possible provocations from Ukraine. And in these regions bordering Ukraine, special forces, ground troops and missile troops, including the rocket systems, Iskander systems, are being deployed here. So it's getting, the tensions on this border is getting really heated. It's also been reported that Wagner has just been deployed on the Ukrainian border in Belarus. And there's also been now footage that have just came out today that the Belarusian Ministry of Defense is transporting heavy military equipment to the border of Ukraine. So this is including tanks and personnel carriers and artillery to the border with Ukraine. The equipment is being loaded onto trains for deliveries. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, you can see these tanks that are going on these trains heading to the Ukrainian Belarusian border. So really interesting, and I'll keep you updated on this. The next news is coming from Moscow. So a new batch of SU-30 M2 fighters equipped with modernized set of onboard radio electronic equipment have been transferred to the combat units of the Russian aerospace forces. So you can see here at your bottom left corner, these are the new jets. So it doesn't actually state how many jets are in this new batch. So regular batches are about 4. So in this video we can see 2. So this could be 2 Su-30s, maybe 4. Who knows right now? But all we know is that a new batch of Russian fighters have been given to the Russian aerospace forces. We've also got news coming from Moscow from the company of Kronstadt. It's called the Grum. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, this is a new UAV with strike capabilities. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, it's like a jet. It's an unmanned jet, and this jet can carry missiles. I don't actually know what to call this. This is just like an unmanned just jet. So it's really interesting. So Russia seems to be developing more of these types of weapons. So very interesting news, and that's all the news I've actually gotten from that UAV/jet. So really interesting. The next news is coming from the Iranian IL-76 cargo aircraft. So the Iranian IL-76 cargo aircraft has recently landed in Moscow, delivering an unknown cargo. So really interesting news, because we've gotten lots of news that a Russian IL cargo jet actually landed in Tehran carrying unknown weapons. So now an Iranian IL-76 cargo aircraft has landed in Moscow carrying unknown weapons. So it seems that Russia and Iran are trading weapons at the minute to suit their current situation. So it's still unknown what's actually in this Iranian jet, but we'll probably get news of that a bit later. Now let's go to the Ukrainian Kursk front. So Russia states that in some areas Ukraine is pushing, but in most areas the front line seems to be stabilized. So there's still clashes along the whole front in some areas, most specifically in the southern area in this Kursk offensive. Ukrainians are pushing, but in all other areas it seems that the Ukrainian offensive has came to a halt. So Russia has also stated that there's a lot of French and Polish mercenaries that are conducting the operations in Kursk. We've also got news now that it's reported that Greek volunteers in the International Legion of Ukraine has been spotted alongside the Ukrainian intelligence. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, obviously at the right, well, on their right of the soldiers here in your bottom left corner, it's the Greek flag. So very interesting, and today we're going to get into probably the most important and concerning news coming from the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia region. So here holds a nuclear power plant, and it is reported by Ukrainian and Russian media. There's been reports that a fire has broken out on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the biggest in all of Europe. So Russia is stating that Ukrainian artillery has been striking the nuclear power plant, and the cooling systems on Zaporizhzhia are on fire. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, the Russians are stating that this is a result of Ukrainian artillery strikes on the area. But currently the situation is that all 6 power units of the station are in cold shutdown. If you can see here, currently all 6 power units of the station are in cold shutdown. Sources are stating there are no threats. The radiation background and around the nuclear power plant of the city is normal. Emergency situations ministry employees are working at the scene of the fire and eliminating fire sources. So it seems right now Russia seems to be taking care of the problem of the fire, but so far there is no threats yet. If this were to happen today again, this could be like a Chernobyl situation. So I'll keep you updated on this. The next news is coming from this area here in Ukraine. So another video has appeared of Ukrainian landing in this coast, so in Kitsburn Spit. So Ukrainian forces have been landing their troops on here. I don't know why, but it seems one has actually failed. A Ukrainian landing here has failed, and we've got on videos which I can't post on YouTube due to the violation of YouTube rules, but I'll just explain it to you. A lot of Ukrainian deceased actually ended up being on the beach here. So a Ukrainian attack on here has failed. We've got news coming from Lithuania. So in August, Lithuania will deliver a new batch of military aid to Ukraine. The aid package will include 14 M113 armored personnel carriers, short-range air defense systems with missiles, electronic warfare equipment, SUVs with spare parts, tractor trucks, loader systems, small arms and ammunition, and additional spare parts. So this is apparently going to be heading to Ukraine in August. The next news is coming from Poland and the United States. So Poland and the United States have signed an agreement to purchase several hundred MIM-120C AMRAAM air-to-air missiles for a total of $855 million US. So if you can see these missiles here in your bottom left corner. In addition, next week, Warsaw and Washington will sign an agreement to purchase 96 American-made Apache combat helicopters worth more than $9 billion. So Poland is stating that it will be buying 96 American-made Apache combat helicopters. So it's stating that deliveries will take place between 2029 and 2033. So really interesting, and I'll keep you updated in this situation. The next news is coming from Serbia. So the Serbian Deputy Prime Minister Vulin said that he'll pay a working visit to Russia on August 12th to August 15th. So now we're getting news that the Serbian Prime Minister will be meeting in most likely Moscow to August 12th to August 15th. So I'll keep you updated on the Serbian-Russian meetings that are about to take place. We've got news coming from France that the tabernacle of Saint Pierre Church in Liege was set on fire. So this church right here, I'll try and get it up here. So this church right here it's been stated that it was set on fire. French sources are stating that this was due to a Catholic attack in France. So really interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. The next news is coming from British Airways. So the British Airways have announced the termination of flights from London to Beijing and Hong Kong, which previously operated twice a day, writes Reuters. So the British company was forced to fly around Russia due to the British sanctions on Russia, and it's reportedly stated that it cannot compete with Chinese airlines who don't have to do that. So if you can see in this image in your bottom left corner here, you can see how British Airways coming from London to Beijing have to travel around Russia, and as a result it takes 12 hours and 41 minutes. So using Chinese airlines to get from Beijing to London, it takes 10 hours and 13 minutes. So because they can just fly straight over Russian territory. So now now we're getting sources that state that the cost of Chinese carriers are 30% lower than the Western competitors, stated the Chinese Airways. So very interesting news. So I'll keep you updated on that. The next news is coming from Algeria and Tunisia. So after a 30 years pause, the railway connecting between Algeria and Tunisia is officially back in operation. So the train line that goes through this city in Algeria called Annaba, so here in Algeria, the National Company for Railway Transport in Algeria announced the resumption of services to this city here in Algeria called Annaba in Algeria to Tunis, the capital of Tunisia. So after a 30-year pause, this railway is back online. The next news is coming from Mali. So the independent experts confirm Ukraine's use of drones against the army of Mali, according to local media. This was reported by Africa Media TV channel in Mali. So in a story about the results of examination of fragments of drones UAVs shot down in the skies of Mali, with the marking of military enterprises of Ukraine and the United States. So Mali is now stating that Ukrainian drones and Ukrainian troops are operating in northern Mali. The next news coming today is coming from Burkina Faso. So Russian soldiers have apparently been filmed and spotted in Burkina Faso. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, you can see these troops with Russian badges on their left arms. So this source is stating that Russian troops are in the capital. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was filmed in the capital of Burkina Faso. So really interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. And that's not the only news coming from Burkina Faso. The next news is coming from Burkina Faso's army. So Burkina Faso's army has announced that it has eliminated 103 terrorists, including the leader of a local Al-Qaeda affiliated group, describing that his death as a devastating blow to the terrorist organization, which operated in much of the Western African country. So very interesting news. So Burkina Faso is announcing that it has killed one of the local leaders of Al-Qaeda in operating in Burkina Faso. The next news is coming from Turkey. So Turkey has lifted the ban on Instagram, reports are stating, but that's the only thing that is coming from Turkey. The next news is coming from Hezbollah and Israel. So it's reported that the previous night, Hezbollah launched a strike on Israeli territories. So this strike involved at least 30 Hezbollah rockets that were fired from Lebanon into Israel. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, this is we've only got a couple of videos actually videoing this attack. So very interesting, and it seems that Israel has actually responded to this attack, and there's been an Israeli strike on this city here. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, there was an Israeli strike on the town of Moreb in southern Lebanon here. So southern Lebanon and in this town right here. So it's still the IDF, Israel still hasn't reported what they actually managed to hit, but we'll probably get that in tomorrow's video. And the next news is coming from Jerusalem. So the US will provide Israel with a $3.5 billion package in military aid, but this money can only be spent on purchasing American weapons and military equipment, and not right away. It is noted that Israel will not receive weapons for this amount immediately. Since the weapon systems that it will be able to purchase are still being created and being, produced. And America is reporting that these weapons will be delivered earlier than in 7 years. So very big military package, but the bad thing for Israel would be that this will take at least 7 years to produce all the items for this package. So very, very interesting. The next news is coming from North Korea. So North Korea has once again launched balloons with trash towards South Korea. So the South Korean military officials have advised citizens not to approach fallen objects and to report them to authorities. So if you can see here, bottom left corner, this was a previous picture of a trash dump, these trash balloons, but it gives you an idea what these look like. So they're just a big balloon filled with just trash that come from the North Korean border to sometimes in the capital of South Korea. So they're just flown just straight over to South Korea. The next news has come from the US. So the US seeks answer for Israel's deadly bombing of a Gaza school. So in Gaza, there's been a huge footage that have been circulating the internet of an Israeli strike on a school in Gaza. And I've actually seen the footage of this, and it's very, very bad. It is terrible what's actually happened there. But America has announced that we are in touch with our Israeli counterparts who have said they targeted a senior Hamas officials, and we are asking for further details. So Israel was stating that it was targeting a Hamas official, senior officials, but it seems that the missile hit a school in Gaza. So very tragic news coming from here. And the last news is coming from Venezuela. So Venezuela has reportedly blocked 2 apps. So one of these apps are the HBO Max, and the next one is Disney Plus. So Disney Plus and the HBO Max has been blocked in Venezuela. And that's all I have for you today. I am Non-Scene News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.